We are the third lowest in terms of regional productivity. Many issues wrapped up in that, but I would just like to say that productivity is the heart of growth. It is how we turn effort into value. It is how wages rise without pushing prices out of control. I want to repeat that. Because as we are in this era, this period of wage negotiations, there is the view that you can increase wages inordinately and it is of no impact on prices. If wages don't match productivity and you increase wages, it's inflationary.
Welcome back to another episode of JATalks. My name is Jassam and we'll be going through what the Prime Minister would have said at the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Awards show in Kingston. We have a lot to go through and comb through right after the break.
Jassam Productions presents JATalks. Director Jassam in the building. Policy, politics, current affairs. Let's go! From the hills of Manchester to the world stage. We turning the leaf, we opening the page. No smiling dentist talk, we keep it real and raw. The truth about the island, from the mountain to the shore. We walk about policy, we talk about politics. Current affairs, we give you all the facts, no tricks. Parliament clash or the latest news trend. JATalks at the place where the message transcend. JATalks, we attack the truth. JATalks, inspiring the youth, substance over style, making nation wise. Open up your ears and open up your eyes. Hit the red button, make the community grow. Like the video now, so the world can know. Hit the bell, don't miss a beat, no delay. JATalks, the only voice you need today.
Subscribe to the JATalks movement. Remember, your independence is the foundation of your liberation. I want to speak about the whole situation where the Prime Minister was at the banquet, and this was at the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. It was a dinner, it was an awards ceremony, I believe, and what I had to do was to watch the video first. So I watched it fully to get the full essence and the context, because especially in day and age of social media, you have where people tend to just watch the snippet or the spliced information of the 30-second video or the 1-minute video, and it may be out of context, and so we may misunderstand it. And so what I chose to do, it was over an hour, but I chose to do my own research and watch it for myself to get the full context of what he is saying before I could provide my critique. I am a policy writer, and so because of that, I don't just critique, I provide information, I provide solutions as well, because I find it annoying when I see other content creators just coming to critique, but then you don't provide solutions. And if you are not providing a solution, you're just noise. You're not helping to build the nation. You're just there to complain for complain's sake, and I don't do that. And so I wanted to address certain things. So there were several things that he would have said. One of them was using nuclear energy as an alternative method than using oil as a source of energy. I will not address that in this video specifically, because I need to gather more information and research on, and what I am not clear on, what I do not know 100%, I do not speak on. I keep my mouth shut. I'm not opposed to it, though. I'll at least say that I'm not opposed to it, because yes, I agree with the Prime Minister where he stated that he would have indicated that the high electricity prices and high energy prices on a whole is a hindrance for productivity, right? And so one of the main reasons the price of goods and services in Jamaica are high is really not because well, yes, some people may have some form of greed, but the main reason is because of energy. Energy cost is high. You have to put back the cost in the products and the goods and services that you're selling. So that is why. And I'm not opposed to the nuclear energy, but what I wanted to focus on were several things. One of the things he spoke about was labor. He spoke about Jamaicans withholding their labor. He spoke about productivity as well, and I want to tackle those two main things that he spoke about: productivity and Jamaicans withholding their labor. So essentially, watch the video and I'll give my commentary.
But the elephant is in the room, which we don't speak of, is that of Jamaica's productivity. We are the third lowest in terms of regional productivity. Many issues wrapped up in that, but I would just like to say that productivity is the heart of growth. It is how we turn effort into value. It is how wages rise without pushing prices out of control. I want to repeat that. Because as we are in this era, this period of wage negotiations, there is the view that you can increase wages inordinately and it is of no impact on prices. If wages don't match productivity and you increase wages, it's inflationary. It means you're going to come back again next year, ask for more wage increases because prices have increased, and you come back again the following year and you're caught in this vicious cycle, which we have been caught in for the last 40 years.
All right, so essentially, the government, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, as you just said, he spoke about raising wages, and if it is that you do wage raises without more productivity, what will happen is that it's going to cause inflation. That's what he's saying. And so what will happen when inflation takes place? Naturally, the prices of things are going to go up. We're going to come back to the government for wage negotiation again, and we're going to be in that perpetual loop. And I hear what you are saying, Mr. Prime Minister. However, some of the information that you provided to the Jamaican people is grossly inaccurate. One of the main factors of inflation in Jamaica has nothing to do with low productivity. It has more to do with the fact that Jamaica imports a lot. We're a heavily imported country. We import a lot. Right, so we import a lot of food, even some food that we can produce here on our own here in Jamaica. We import, but separate from food as well, we also import oil. JPS has to import oil because we do not produce oil, which is why I'm grateful for the fact that you're looking into alternative methods of energy in terms of natural energy, solar, and the nuclear. I'm grateful for that because that would help to reduce the cost of production. So that is the major thing that contributes to inflation in Jamaica, not low productivity. And you say low productivity is the reason, but then I'm curious to know, you were at the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, which is a private sector meeting, right? This is a conglomerate of private sector individuals, business people who own their business, right? Okay, cool. When it comes on to low productivity, this is a public sector issue. We have low productivity in the public sector because you rightfully stated, which is why you got Audrey Marks to be in charge of efficiency, right, and speed. What would have happened is that because the government has to go to various, we call it again, bureaucracies, and you have to have different oversight to help prevent corruption. That is why certain things and production has slowed down. That is the main reason. It is not the private sector. It is the public sector that is contributing to the low productivity. And if you don't believe me, well, let me ask a question. And this is my question to the viewers and both the Prime Minister. How do you tell a security guard who has to stand up for 14, 15 hours, sometimes 20 hours, if the person who is supposed to come and relieve him is not available? How do you tell that security guard that he is supposed to be more productive? How do you tell the cashier who has to stand up in Bashko every day, and if she ever sit down, she's going to be deemed as lazy, right? How do you tell that person who has to work a full shift, standing and cashing out the foods, goods and services for everybody? How do you tell her or him to be more productive? How do you tell the person who works at a call center, right, who works the full 8-hour shift, and let us say the key performance indicator is customer satisfaction, where the customer gives you a rating, and let us say another key performance indicator is handle time, because I worked in the call center industry for 11 years, so I know, right? And in my experience, I recall the handle time was 3 minutes. So you have a 3-minute handle time. And for those who do not know what handle time is the average time you stay on the phone. So you should not be on the phone for more than 3 minutes at a time. Do you understand that? In certain cases, it may go less, but you should have more short calls to make up. So when they average it out, it should be less than the 3 minutes. That is average handle time. So I'm just giving an example now. So you have a 3-minute handle time, and you also have customer satisfaction, where the customer gives you a rating 1 to 5 after the call. And if it is that you rush through the call, 3 minutes is not enough, and the customer may want to ask questions. And if it is that you rush through that call, you're going to get a bad score. But if it is that you take your time and you provide excellent customer service, your hunger time go mash up, and you risk getting a write-up from your supervisor. How do you tell the people who are in the call center industry, where the KPIs have been put against them, and when they start meeting the KPIs, because they have to be flexible to go above and beyond to meeting the KPIs, what happens is that when everybody start meeting the KPI, the management raise the KPI, make it even harder to meet for them. So now they have to not work even harder to meeting the KPI. How do you tell that person to be more productive? This is what is taking place in the private sector. So when you come to a private sector banquet and you speak about the concept of productivity, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the employees of the business people who are at the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce to be more productive? Or are you speaking to the people who work for you in the private sector? In the public sector. You are literally the head of the public sector. Are you speaking to yourself? Because essentially this is the wrong audience. This is the wrong audience that you're speaking to or that you're addressing when it comes on to productivity. Who are you talking to? It cannot be the private sector that you're talking to. And again, the misalignment of the blame, where you say productivity, it is not productivity, it is that causes inflation. And you know what? This is how I'm going to prove that you would have contradicted yourself, because watch this video.
Therefore, we are pleased to announce that starting June 1, 2023, the national minimum wage will increase from 9,000 per 40-hour week to 13,000 per 40-hour week. Madam Speaker, this represents a 44% increase. Madam Speaker, that is the largest increase in 20 years. Madam Speaker, since assuming office in 2016, the minimum wage has increased from $6,200 to $13,000. So this administration has increased the minimum wage by 110% in 7 years. cumulative inflation over the period, cumulative inflation over the same period was less than 50%. And even in US dollars, it represents a 66% increase in the minimum wage. The government has done more. This government, the Andrew Holness-led administration, your government, our government, has done more than any previous government to create prosperity for Jamaica and Jamaicans. And we are proud to share the gains with all Jamaicans.
How is it that you, during the campaign trail and in Parliament, you would have bragged and boast that the Jamaica Labour Party was able to increase minimum wage for over 100%, almost 3 times you increased the minimum wage in 2016 when you took office. The minimum wage was at $6,200, and now effective next month, July 1st, minimum wage is going to be at $17,000. And I'm curious to know, remember you stated that you used to brag and boast that you were able to raise the minimum wage, and you raised the minimum wage from $6,200. It is going to be $17,000 a week. You were able to do that while having a stable inflation. You did that. You brought them. They came directly from the horse's mouth. So how is it now that you're saying you're changing the tune when you're in front of managers, when you're in front of business owners, to say that productivity is the reason? You're saying that we cannot raise the wages because of productivity is low, and Jamaica has the lowest productivity. You were able to do that in the past. You're actually still doing that right now, and you are inflation is still being managed. So essentially, you would have just contradicted yourself just now to the Jamaican people when you speak about productivity. You spoke about persons withholding their labor, right? You spoke about persons withholding their labor. Okay, cool, they're withholding their labor. And I'm curious to know, and this is a rhetorical question, why are Jamaicans withholding their labor? I, who worked 11 years in the call center, I resigned on the 27th of March this year because I could not take it anymore. Why did I choose to withhold my labor? Because yes, currently I'm unemployed and I wish never to go back into the call center industry, and I'm not going to work at Mr. Chin shop. I'm sorry, me not do that. So why is it that I chose to walk away and to withhold my labor? You keep on talking about productivity. It has nothing to do with productivity. It has everything to do with the fact that we are not going to work for salaries that would just be enough to bring us back to work. That is the reality. Where the only thing, the salary that is being provided, you're working with $17,000, right? Let me do the math. If you're getting $17,000 a month, that is $17,000 a week is $68,000 a month before tax, right? And when you take out transportation, somebody on a raise taxi fare. Where they on a raise taxi fare? My fare was $200, now it's $250. By right, it's supposed to be $225, but the taxi man them a thief. So essentially, me have to pay now $500 for go and come round trip, right? 25 that's $2,500 alone for 1 week, 5 days. Some people have worked 6 days a week. That's about $10,000 alone. And for those persons who have children to take care, and you have to pay light, water, internet, and food, what is left out of that to save? What is left out of where is the disposable income out of that? There is none. And if it is that I cannot save, if it is that I cannot better myself, why would I want to work for a job that basically is just paying me to go back to work? You're just giving me enough to go back and be more productive for your work. Does that make any sense, Mr. Prime Minister? Does that make any sense? So a lot of the things that you would have stated, it felt inauthentic, it was inaccurate. You love to talk about misinformation and disinformation, and you are one of the disseminators of the misinformation and disinformation, because you, in front of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, which has business people, Jamaican business people, you went up to them and said that productivity is the reason, when the reality is and the truth is, it's not productivity. We're importing more than what we're exporting. That is what causes inflation. The geopolitical issue with the United States and Iran, with the Strait of Hormuz being closing, and now we have a rise in gas prices. That is what causes inflation, not low productivity. The only form of low productivity that exists is in your administration, is underneath your government. Because the government jobs or the public sector jobs would fall under you, and you are the head of the government. That is where the low productivity lies, not with the private sector. So you were telling this to the wrong crowd. Thank you very much for another episode of JATalks, and that is it. It was my pleasure. We have more content coming out. I'm on a roll. So expect me to address. Recently today we found out that Jamaica is going to be accepting third party non-nationals coming into Jamaica. So I will address that in my upcoming video, so stay tuned for that, guys. Yes, but until then, please remember and never forget that your independence is the foundation of your liberation. Walk good, Jamaica.